Plaintiff Lottie Sanders says she and the defendant were roommates, and the defendant often criticized the amount of clothing Lottie had. Lottie claims while living together, the defendant gave Lottie's clothes away, and she's suing her for a security deposit, utilities, and an internet bill. Defendant Elizabeth Townsend says after moving in with Lottie, she discovered Lottie was a hoarder who still had clothing from 1984. Elizabeth denies owing Lottie for anything.
Start with you.
So Elizabeth and I met in 2013 at a work event, and we became friends immediately. Did a lot of fun things together, and we started working together shortly after that. Long story short, we decided it would be a good idea to become roommates, and here we are.
When did you all become roommates?
In April of 2019.
Okay.
I had some red flags right after I moved in. She consistently was telling me that I had too much stuff and I needed to get rid of my stuff and that I was excessive. And she told me that if I didn't get rid of my things, that she would do it for me. And
how many days after moving in did she tell you that?
It was kind of from the very beginning, but it became more and more. And I was at work one day and I was sitting at my desk and I looked up and a lady who works for me came in. I really liked her outfit. I'm like, I love that. Where did you get it? And she said Elizabeth had given it to her. So she had followed through on telling me that she would get rid of my clothes.
Give your things away.
Yeah, and she gave my things away. She consistently was telling me that I had too much stuff and I needed to get rid of my stuff. And she told me that if I didn't get rid of my things, that she would do it for me. And I was at work one day and a lady who works for me came in. I really liked her outfit. I'm like, I love that. Where did you get it? And she said Elizabeth had given it to her.
Give your things away.
Plaintiff Lottie Sanders says while renting an apartment with the defendant, she discovered the defendant was giving her clothes away.
Let me hear from you, ma'am. You tell me.
Okay. She's a hoarder. And when I first moved in, it was about 2 weeks, I had noticed that her lifestyle is excessive. And I sat her down and I said, you know, we need to discuss this. The lights are on all the time.
No, we're talking about her property. That's what we were talking about. We're talking about you giving her items away because you believe she had too much. Tell me about that.
Well, when we first moved in, she had everything in the house was hers.
Mm-hmm.
She had an extensive amount of clothes, shoes, everything.
When did you notice that?
When we first moved in. And this is a picture I have of the garage when we first moved in.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all her stuff. None of that is mine.
And so this was the first week?
Yes.
And what'd you say to her?
And I said, we need to sit down, we need to come up with a game plan. We've got a lot of stuff here and we both have to live here.
Mm-hmm.
So she said that she would get rid of some of her stuff. It never happened, so I did take it upon myself to get rid of some of it to someone that actually needed it.
Okay. And you think the woman at work needed it? She told you she needed it?
Yes. Well,
she told you, woman at work, I need clothes.
Well, she doesn't have a lot of money. And like I could see that the clothes that she wears, she was definitely needing some new clothes.
How do you know she don't have a lot of money?
Well,
how do you know she doesn't have a lot of money?
Well, I could tell by the way that she doesn't spend her money on clothing.
Yeah, that means she might have a lot.
She might.
You ever thought about that?
The
reason she dresses conservatively and doesn't have a lot of clothes because she has a lot of money saved? Duh.
Right, she might. She does have a lot of money.
The folks you see with all that other stuff, you see them with the Chanel, the red bottoms, that they as broke as you can be. They don't have a dime. Carrying a $5,000 bag and $2,000 shoes and be laid to the bone. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, this and that and the other. Go ahead.
So, she is very frugal.
Go all neither. He rich is all outdoors. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm the only one walk around here and try to spend my money foolishly.
So she does watch her money at work, but she doesn't spend on clothes. She has clothes from 1984 in the garage, so that she doesn't even know they're there. So
How do you know they go all the way back to 84? She told you that.
Because she's told me.
Ma'am, you have clothes that go all the way back to 1984?
No, Your Honor.
She said you told her you were going to give them away. You didn't take her serious?
She said that she would clean my things out for me. No, I didn't take it serious. I can't imagine how someone would think in their mind that's okay.
Yeah, I can't either. That's why I was trying to get a glimpse of her mind.
Well,
And she likes to help the needy with other folks' greedy. Yeah.
She's told me
When
a
you're
lot.
greedy, she takes it and helps the needy,
She
right?
has told me several times that I make more money than her. So
There you go.
But so I think in her mind that she thought it was okay because
Well,
I'm
listen,
not
I
in
think
need
it
of
is
money.
too. You were greedy, hoarding all that stuff.
I'm
Help
not
the
a
needy.
hoarder. Your Honor, I'm
Should have
not
helped
a
the
hoarder.
needy, right?
help the needy.
Tell me why you're suing her today, ma'am.
Okay, so in April of 2019, we signed a 1-year lease
What was
together.
the agreement between you all?
The agreement was that I would pay more on the rent than her.
How much was the rent? You
All
gotta
right,
give me
so it's
something better than that.
$11.50. I agreed to pay $600 a month. She agreed to pay $550.
Okay.
And we
Because
also
she had so much stuff.
we also agreed to split all of the household bills in half: the electricity, the water, the internet, the cable. And so when I moved in, I got the internet and everything in my name, and she was supposed to pay me half for it, and she's never paid me. And anytime that I've asked her to pay me, she says that she's not paying me because I'm excessive and I use too much.
Okay, now what's the security deposit?
Okay, so the first month we moved in, I paid the security deposit up front, and she's told
much
me
was
That's
that?
not true. I paid half of that security deposit.
Okay, I'll let you talk.
Okay.
How much is that?
it was $800.
And you paid all $800?
Yes.
All right.
And I also paid the first month's rent. And the second month that we lived there, she was going to pay the rent that month to make up for the fact that I paid her rent in April. And she did do that, but she has not paid me back for her half of the security deposit.
Okay. And you have a list of the utilities or
Yes.
itemized?
Plaintiff Lottie Sanders says while renting an apartment with the defendant, she discovered the defendant was giving her clothes away.
Ma'am, she says you owe her for security deposit, half, utilities and internet bills.
Okay. So first off, the night we signed the lease, I gave her $400 for the security deposit.
That is a complete lie.
Okay, let her finish.
And the cable bill, she got cable. I have my own unlimited data, Hulu, Netflix. I have all that myself. So I never even agreed to
Pay half the
pay
utilities?
half of that. I never
That's
even
not true.
agreed
Did
to
you
that.
ever, so what did you agree to pay half of?
Okay, I sat her down when we first moved in, and I told her, I said, everything is excessive. Okay, you leave the lights on. You run the dishwasher 5 times a week. She's doing laundry 3 times a day.
That is not true.
Okay, this is an example.
Okay.
Those are her dishes. I can't even wash my dishes. Like everything there is.
She doesn't have dishes,
Hold
Your
on,
Honor.
ma'am. So you don't want to pay because she didn't leave your room in the sink? Or
No.
because she took a bath too often? She took a bath every day. What did you think she should do? Every 3? Every 4 days? How often
and I
should she take a
understand, 'cause I
bath?
take a
How often
shower.
did you take one?
Once a day.
All right.
But she's running the dishwasher 5 times a week.
I think most people should wash dishes every day. I think most people do. Otherwise, you have them piled up, dirty dishes, ants, roaches, whatever. You had roaches last place you stayed?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you will if you stop washing dishes long enough. You keep doing. You move away from her. She moved from you.
Yes.
She got roaches now. Let the woman wash the dishes every day. What else, ma'am, is your excuse for not paying utilities? She washes dishes every day. What else?
Okay, so she's turning up the AC that's not even warm out. She gets hot flashes, so she'll turn it on, and then it's cold at night, so she'll turn the heat on. It gets excessive.
I have never turned the heat on since I've lived there.
Yeah, I've never heard people with hot flashes turn the heat on.
Well, she'll turn it down at night because it gets cold, but when it gets hot, when she gets hot flashes, she turns the AC on. So it's like a fluctuation. It just keeps going on,
What
up
did you
and
say
down.
to her about that?
Leaving lights on all the
No,
time.
what did you say to her about her hot flashes? What did you say?
I
Did
said-
y'all have that discussion?
No.
Since that's what you're putting it on now, you don't want to pay the light bill because of her hot flashes.
No, I just thought that we both moved in
Did you tell her
together.
that? Did you say, girl, those hot flashes, you better go to the doctor and do something, else I'm not paying you your money?
I just
Did you
thought-
mention it? Talk about it now. Ask
Okay.
her, what's up with them
I
hot
just
flashes? Ask her. She's right there.
We've talked about the hot flashes before.
What'd she tell you?
She can't help it.
There you go. You don't have any hot flashes?
No, not yet.
Ain't y'all about the same age?
Yep.
Well, they coming real soon. I don't know whether you know it or not. And then you're gonna be turning that air up. Then you're gonna be paying the extra. Go ahead. What else? I'm gonna be silly with you on this because
I
this
know.
is silly. Go ahead. What else?
It just became excessive. Like everything in the house, like we had a main closet. Okay, you walk in, all her stuff is in that closet. I can't even put my coats, my shoes, nothing. Like I felt like I didn't even live there. Like I was just like coming over. And maybe if there's room, great. But
Now that's understandable what you're referring to now in terms
I
of
just felt like-
space.
May
but
I
in terms
interject?
of hold on, but in
Okay.
turn that's a legitimate issue to have in terms of using up more space than you would. But however, ma'am, these utilities, that's nonsense what you're saying. Let me get back to her on the internet bill, ma'am. She says that's because you understood that she didn't need any of that because she had all the internet she needed.
That is not true. Before we moved in, we came to an agreement. I was going to get the electricity and the water turned on in my name, and she was going to do the internet and the cable in her name. We moved in. I immediately had them put into my name. And a month later, I had asked her every week, when are you turning on the internet and when are you turning on
What
the
would
cable?
she say?
She kept saying that she would do it next week, and she never did it.
You never told her you would do it next week,
No, that
as
is
you
a
heard
lie.
her say you did.
It's
No.
a lie.
Okay.
Plaintiff Lottie Sanders says while renting an apartment with the defendant, she discovered the defendant was giving her clothes away.
Did you pay anything?
no, and
Why?
because
Because I'm excessive.
Hold on, ma'am. Why?
Because she said, Liz, we'll work out something. She even told me, okay, we'll work out a plan. So I'm
No.
not.
Why didn't you pay the first month's utility? Whatever share you thought you should pay. Why didn't you give her $10? Say, girl, the utility bill is $200. You use 90% of the air and of the electricity, so let me give you $10 on it. Why didn't you pay her something?
I just didn't even feel like I lived there. She didn't listen to me.
Okay.
Everything was hers in that house.
Well,
I mean, I didn't have
you
any
did feel
say-so.
like you lived there when those lights were on. You did feel like you lived there when that heat was on. You did feel like living there when you turned that water on. Hopefully you turned the water on. We don't have to go any further, ma'am. This is nonsense, and you know it is. You should have just said you can't afford it, ma'am. Now, the only thing that sounds somewhat legitimate is the internet bill, but since you did not pay anything at all on any of the other bills, I'm going to conclude that you're being dishonest, misleading, or unfair with regard to the internet bill as well. Judgment for the plaintiff, $1,263. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I'm just glad it's over.
Me
I'm
too.
going to go home and take a bath.